What happens when a prince who built his image around vulnerability and healing comes face to face with a man who spent a lifetime embodying resilience and unshakable integrity? Well, you're about to find out, because Prince Harry just had the most spectacular meltdown during an intimate conversation with Clint Eastwood, a man who doesn't sugarcoat the truth. Before we dive into this incredible clash of values, make sure you hit that subscribe button and drop a comment below, because this story will challenge everything you thought you knew about courage and character. Music. The camera fades into a dimly lit, wood-paneled room. Two leather chairs face each other across a small table. The setting is intimate. No stage, no spotlight, no audience, just two men and a conversation long overdue. Clint Eastwood is already seated, posture relaxed, eyes sharp with that unmistakable gaze forged by years of hard-earned wisdom. Across the room, the door opens. Prince Harry enters, shoulders squared, a practiced smile on his face. Their handshake is brief. Clint's grip is steady, no more, no less. Clint speaks first. Voice low. Deliberate, appreciate you coming. Harry, I don't do many of these, but some things ought to be said. Face to face. Harry takes a seat, smoothing his jacket. His smile remains, but his eyes flicker, searching for control. Thank you, Clint. I see this as a good opportunity to set the record straight. Clint leans back, gaze unwavering. You've told your version of the story. Plenty of times today. I'd like us to talk about the truth, not the one we choose to tell, the one that stands whether we like it or not. For a moment, Harry's smile falters. He shifts slightly in his chair. The weight of Clint's words settling in the air grows heavier. The game has begun. The room holds a long, heavy silence. After Clint's last words, Harry shifts in his seat, forcing a smile that doesn't quite reach his eyes. His fingers tap lightly against the armrest, an unconscious rhythm of unease. Well, Clint, he begins, voice steady but too controlled, I believe it's important to share my truth. There are still so many misconceptions about my life, about why I made my choices. Clint gives a single nod, slow and deliberate. He leans forward slightly, forearms resting on his knees. His gaze never wavers. You keep saying your truth, Clint says, voice low-weighted. Truth's not something that shifts depending on who's telling it. Harry blinks, a flicker of irritation in his eyes. He recovers quickly. I'm not changing anything. I'm simply sharing what I've lived through. A beat passes. Clint studies him, the room thick with unspoken meaning that's fair to a point, but life's not just about what happens to us. It's about the choices we make. After Harry inhales slowly, his smile faltering. I didn't have a choice. Clint, the pressures, the scrutiny, I was trapped. Clint sits back, his face unreadable, eyes cold steel. Harry, you had every choice in the world. You're a grown man born into privilege. Most folks can't even imagine. Plenty of people walk away from hard lives. They don't burn the bridge as they leave. Harry's jaw tightens, his fingers now grip the chair's arms. You clearly don't understand what it's like to live under that kind of microscope. Clint doesn't blink. His voice remains even. No, I don't. But I do know this. If you spend your days chasing sympathy, you'll lose the strength to stand on your own. Harry exhales sharply through his nose. The mask of calm is cracking. His left hand clenches, then releases. Clint leans in, voice just above a whisper. Being a man means owning what you do, all of it. The good, the bad, the parts you regret. That's where truth begins. Harry shifts again. Eyes narrowing, the first real tension fills the room. Thick enough to cut, the battle has truly begun. A tense silence hangs in the room. Harry leans back in his chair. Jaw tight, breathing, measured or trying to be. I'm here. To set the record straight, he says again. Voice firmer now. People need to understand what I've been through. Clint doesn't move. His gaze holds Harry's like a steel trap setting. The record straight is one thing, Clint says. Slowly, dragging your family through the mud, That's another. Harry's nostrils flare, they left me no choice. They stayed silent while the media tore me apart. Clint leans forward just slightly. Voice calm. Silence isn't always weakness. Harry, sometimes it's the strongest choice. A man can make Harry's fingers drum an impatient rhythm on the chair. You clearly don't know what it's like to be hunted by the press. Clint's expression doesn't change. No, I don't. But I do know what it's like to face hardship and not let it define. Me? Harry exhales sharply, frustration. Mounting, I'm trying to heal. That's why I speak out. Clint's brow lifts just a fraction. You say you want healing, but real healing starts when you stop picking the scab. Harry's lips press into a thin line. Clint lets the silence stretch. You say you want privacy. Yet here you are. Another interview, another story. Harry's voice rises, anger seeping through. I have to tell my side. I can't let their narrative stand unchallenged. Clint's tone remains even sun. You can't control what people think of you. You can only control who you are. Harry shifts forward in his seat, voice sharper. Now, my family never defended me. They abandoned me. Clint holds steady, defending you to the press or standing by you as a man. There's a difference. Harry's fists clench in his lap. Clint's voice softens, but the weight behind it is undeniable. Your family chose silence. You chose to speak. But every time you speak, you seem to dig the hole deeper. Harry's breath comes faster. His composure is slipping. Clint leans back, gaze unflinching. Sometimes, Harry. The hardest thing is knowing when to stop talking. The room feels smaller. Now the air is thick with tension. Harry grips the arms of his chair as if holding himself in. Place, the cracks are widening. The storm is coming. The air in the room is growing heavier with each exchange. Harry leans forward now, jaw set, frustration simmering beneath the surface. I'm trying to heal, he says, voice edged with defensiveness. That's why I tell my story. People need to know the truth. Clint's gaze sharpens. His voice remains calm, but there's a weight to it now. The kind that comes from a lifetime of seeing through excuses. Healing's a quiet thing. Harry Clint says, you don't find it in front of cameras, you find it in the stillness when no one's watching. Harry scoffs, sitting back. That's easy for you to say, you haven't been through what I have. Clint's eyes narrow, not unkind, but firm sun. I've seen plenty of folks broken by life. Some crawl out, some stay in the mud, because it's easier to blame. Others, Harry shifts in his seat, lips pressing into a thin line. Clint leans in slightly. You talk about healing. But when does it begin? After the next interview, the next documentary, Harry exhales sharply. Healing requires accountability. My family has never taken responsibility for what they did. Clint's voice stays level. Do you mean public apologies? Or are you waiting for them to kneel at your feet? Harry's face flushes. I want acknowledgement. I want them to own what they did. Clint studies him for a long moment. I've known real survivors, hairy folks who face things most can't imagine they don't. Spend their lives demanding others say, sorry. They find their peace and they move forward. Harry's hands grip the armrest tighter now. Clint lets a beat of silence hang between them, then dragging your family through the court of public opinion. It won't fill the hole inside you. Only you can do that. Harry shakes his head, voice rising. You don't get it. They left me alone to be torn apart. Clint's tone is steady, almost fatherly. They didn't control how you chose to fight back that part's on you. Harry looks away for the first time. His throat works, but no words come out. Clint waits unblinking. If you want real healing, stop waiting on others. Start owning your part. The silence that follows is deafening. Harry's mask of composure is cracking fast. The silence between them stretches thick as molasses. Harry looks away, gathering himself when he speaks again. The edge in his voice is sharper, but the confidence is fading. My family, they never supported me. When it mattered, he says. Clint's gaze doesn't waver, his voice remains calm. Let's talk about that. Harry blinks slightly thrown. Clint leans forward, elbows on knees, voice low and steady. They supported your military service, didn't they? A pause. Harry nods reluctantly. Yes, they supported your marriage. Clint continues. You chose who to marry. No one stopped you. Harry shifts. There were issues behind the scenes, but they stood there at your wedding. Clint presses, smiled for the world to see. Harry swallows throat tight. Yes, but Clint cuts in gently but firmly. They supported your choice. To have children, no one denied you that. Another nod, more reluctant this time. They supported your charitable work. Clint says every cause you chose, they backed you. Harry exhales slowly, words catching in his throat. So tell me, Harry Clint, says voice. Soft, but cutting. Which choice did they not support? Harry stares at the floor. Silence, then voice barely above a whisper. My choice to leave. Clint leans back slightly, eyes narrowing. Did they stop you from leaving? Harry hesitates no, but they didn't. Make it easy. Clint nods. When son leaving a family, any family royal or not, is never easy. But you left. That was your choice. Harry's jaw tightens, and now Clint continues, voice like a knife through silk. You've spent years telling the world how hard. It was blaming them for your choices. Harry's breath quickens his hands. Grip the chair again. Don't twist this, he snaps. You don't know what it was like. Clint's tone doesn't change. No, I don't, but I know this. Every man makes choices. You made yours, and every choice carries weight. Harry leans forward, eyes blazing. They should have understood why I had to go. Clint's gaze is unwavering. Did you explain it to them? Or did you announce it and expect them to follow your lead? Harry's mouth opens, then closes. He looks down again. Harry Clint says, voice almost gentle now. Leaving was your right. No shame in that. But don't burn bridges and expect a parade. Harry's fists clench tighter. You can't control how others react. Clint adds only how you carry yourself after. Harry's breathing is shallow. Now his polished narrative is crumbling, and carrying yourself, Clint says, voice dropping lower, doesn't mean dragging others down to lift yourself up. The words hang in the air like a verdict. Harry stares at the floor, jaw working, but no words come. Clint sits back, gaze steady. Son, life's about what you build, not what you tear down. Harry swallows hard, the cracks in his composure now fully exposed. The silence from Clint's last words weighs. Heavy in the room, Harry shifts again. Visibly agitated, his fingers tap a rapid rhythm on the armrest, and he breathes shallowly. You think this is about blame? Harry shoots back, voice rising. You don't know what I've been through. Clint's gaze doesn't waver. His voice is calm, but there's steel beneath it. I don't question your pain, Harry. I question what you're doing with it. Harry leans forward, eyes blazing. They destroyed my mother. They destroyed me. Clint meets his gaze, unflinching. Your mother's loss was a tragedy no child should face, but carrying that weight for life and using it to justify everything that's not healing. Harry's face flushes red. You don't understand. They left me to be torn apart by the press. Clint nods slowly. Maybe they failed you. But son, dragging your pain across the world stage, turning it into a performance, that's a choice. Yours. Harry pounds the armrest with his fist. I'm telling my story. My truth. Clint's eyes narrow. There's that word again, your truth. But what about your wife's truth? Your children's, don't they deserve privacy, or are they just part of the story? Now Harry glares, voice low and dangerous. Leave my family out of this. Clint holds his gaze. You can't have it both ways. Harry, you want privacy for the family you've chosen, but you've stripped it from the family you left. Harry opens his mouth, then hesitates. His throat works, but no words come. Clint's voice softens, fatherly but firm. Son, being a victim and being victimized aren't the same. Bad things happen, but you're the one deciding how to carry it forward. Harry shakes his head. voice cracking. You think I'm doing this for attention? Clint leans in voice like a quiet hammer. You signed deals worth millions to tell your story. Wrote books, made documentaries. That's not survival. That's monetizing your pain. Harry slams his fist on the armrest again, louder this time. How dare you? Clint cuts him off. Voice unwavering. I dare, because someone has to say it. You've wrapped yourself so tightly in your pain, you can't see past it. Harry looks away, jaw clenched, breathing hard. Clint lets the silence stretch, then speaks softly. You don't hate the media. You don't hate your family. You hate what you've become. And that's what keeps you trapped. Harry's face crumpled, and for a moment he looked every bit like the wounded boy he once was, but then the mask slams back down. You don't know me, he hisses. You don't know anything about my life. Clint nods. Maybe not, but I know this until you stop. Blaming the world, you'll never find peace. Harry grips the chair so hard his knuckles turn white. The room is a storm. About to break, the tension in the room is suffocating. Now Harry's fists grip the chair so hard his knuckles are white. His breaths come fast and shallow. You think I'm monetizing my pain. He spits. You sit there judging me. You have no idea what I've been through. Clint's voice is quiet, unshaken. I'm not judging your pain, Harry. I'm judging what you're doing with it. Harry slams his fist on the armrest, eyes blazing. How dare you, Clint? Leans back slightly, gaze steady. I dare, because someone needs to say it. The more you cling to your pain, the more you sell it. The less of yourself remains. Harry bolts upright, chair scraping the floor. This interview is over, he shouts, voice cracking. Clint doesn't move. His voice remains even. Walking away won't change the truth. Harry rounds on him, trembling with rage. You sit there in your comfortable life thinking you understand mine. Clint's eyes are narrow and calm as if still in the water. I don't claim to understand your life, but I know this. A man who carries hate in his heart poisons himself. First, Harry's face twists the polished public image, now a mask of raw fury. You think this is hate, he sneers. It's justice. Clint's gaze doesn't flinch. Justice doesn't come from tearing others down to lift yourself up. Harry glares at him, fists shaking. You're just like them. You pretend to care, but you're just another voice trying to silence me. Clint's voice is soft but unyielding. Son, no. One can silence you, but every time you speak like this, you silence the man. You could become. Harry staggers back a step as if struck for a brief moment. Something flickers in his eyes. Pain, regret, but it vanishes. I hate you, he hisses. I hate all of you. Clint exhales slowly. You don't hate me, Harry. You hate the mirror. I'm holding up. Harry's breath catches the room, seems to close in. He looks around, desperate for an escape. I'm done here, he says, voice shaking. He rips off his microphone and storms toward the door. Security scrambles to follow at the threshold. Harry turns back one last time, voice, You'll never understand people like me. Clint's reply is quiet, final. Maybe not, but maybe it's time you start trying to understand yourself. Harry hesitates just for a second, then disappears through the door. The room falls into a heavy silence. Clint sits alone, eyes thoughtful. Pains, a hard teacher. He says softly, almost to himself, but only fools refuse to learn. Fade to black. The screen fades to black momentarily, then returns to Clint, still seated, calm eyes steady. His voice is low, carrying the weight of hard-earned wisdom. Pain is part of life. No man escapes it, but what we choose to do with that pain that defines us. There was a brief pause. The room is still tonight. We saw a man trapped not by his past, but by his unwillingness to let go of it. A man who's traded healing for blame, who's chosen to wear his wounds as armor instead of learning to heal another. Pause, Clint's gaze unwavering. The hardest truths are the ones we tell ourselves until we face them honestly, without excuse. No amount of sympathy or apology will ever set us free. He leans forward slightly, voice softer now, so ask yourself, what weight are you still carrying, and is it helping you stand or holding you down? The screen begins to fade as Clint's final words hang in the air. If this conversation made you think, share your thoughts below, and if you faced your own struggles with pain and healing, tell your story. Maybe it'll help someone else find their way. Fade to black.